You've caught your cat doing this, sitting perfectly still, looking off at nothing, and the very tip of their tongue poking out. And you did what everyone does. You grabbed your phone. People call it a blep, and it's one of the funniest things a cat can do. Most of the time, it's exactly as harmless as it looks, but not always. Because the tongue that stays out, in a cat who never used to do it, is one of the most overlooked warning signs in cat ownership. Nothing about it looks like an emergency, which is precisely the problem. And owners usually work out what it was pointing at months later than they should have. Hi everyone, I'm Leo Bennett, your neighborhood cat guy. And here's the thing about the tongue. It isn't an isolated oddity. It's one of a whole set of behaviors your cat performs constantly that look completely inexplicable to us. The limp kitten, the shadow that follows you into every room, the waist they stop covering, the face that looks like pure disgust, the war on closed doors. We laugh at all of it and move on without ever asking why. But everyone has a reason, and it's rarely the story we've told ourselves. So today, I'll walk you through all of them and exactly how you should respond. Because for most of these, the instinctive response is the wrong one. Quick note before we go on. This is one chapter of a much bigger conversation about what your cat is trying to tell you, and I've gathered all of it into a book called The Happy Cat Manual over at leobennettsecrets.com. If you want more happy years with your cat, go take a look. That's all. Let's begin with the one that looks like magic. Why does a kitten go completely limp when you pick them up by the scruff? You've seen a mother cat do this. She takes a kitten by the loose skin at the back of the neck and it just switches off. Legs dangle, tail hangs, no struggle, and she carries it across the room like a bag of shopping. People assume the kitten is being obedient or trusting, or that the grip is soothing. None of that is happening. It's a reflex, involuntary, and the kitten has no more choice in it than you have in blinking. Pressure on the scruff makes the body go limp, and nature built that in as a handle. And here's why it exists. Picture a mother cat moving a litter out of a den that's no longer safe, one kitten at a time. The ones who lay still got carried quickly and quietly. The ones who wriggled got dropped or drew attention to a mother already exposed with her mouth full. Over an enormous span of time, the still ones survived and the wrigglers didn't. And what's left is a reflex that fires in every kitten alive today. But here's the correct way. Do not use it. Mother cats only use the scruff for the first few weeks. Grown cats are far too heavy for it, and scruffing an adult is uncomfortable, straining, and frightening. And even in kittens, a limp body is not a calm mind. It opts the struggling, not the fear. So pick your cat up properly. One hand under the chest, one under the back end, weight fully taken. A whole generation was taught the scruff is a legitimate way to control a cat. It isn't. So let's talk about the shadow. Your cat follows you everywhere. You get up for the kitchen and there's a small escort. You go upstairs, turn around, and there they are in the doorway, having said nothing about it. The joke is that cats are aloof, so this must mean something's wrong. It means the simplest thing in the world. They like your company. Cats have lived alongside us for thousands of years, and domestication made them more social, not less. A cat who follows you has decided wherever you are is the good place to be. But there's more going on. Some of it is boredom, and that's the part that should get your attention. An indoor cat can't do what a cat is built to do. No hunting, no patrolling, no novelty. So they follow you because you're the most interesting thing in the building. Some is plain nosiness, and some is territory. In the wild, a cat walks their patch several times a day, laying scent and checking for intruders. You're part of the route. So the correct way, plus one exception. Mostly, let them come. A follower is a compliment. But if it comes with constant, insistent meowing, that's not company, that's a request, usually food, or a box that needs cleaning. And if it's new in an older cat or paired with vocalizing at odd hours, don't file it as cleanliness. Cats who suddenly need to be near you can be telling you they don't feel well. Now, something that confuses people more than it should, why they sometimes don't cover their waist. Most cats bury. But some do the exact opposite. They go, they don't cover, and they walk off leaving it in plain sight. Most owners read that as laziness. It isn't. Look at what big cats do. Smaller, vulnerable cats bury to hide their scent from predators. Dominant big cats competing over territory often deliberately don't. Mountain lions build a small mound of dirt and leaves and place their waste on top, where the whole world can see it and smell it. That isn't carelessness. That's a billboard. So when a house cat stops covering, they may be saying, "This is mine." And you see it where you'd expect. A new cat in the house. A cat who's never felt the place belongs to them. Male cats especially. But hold off on that explanation, because there are more mundane reasons to rule out first. A cat may not cover because they don't want to spend one more second in that box. The litter texture might be unpleasant underfoot or too heavily scented. The box might be too small to turn around in. And here's the one that matters most. It can be pain. A urinary tract infection, a sore paw, arthritis making the digging hurt. A cat in discomfort gets in and gets out. So check the box before you check the ego. Unscented, soft, fine litter, enough to dig in, a box big enough to turn around in, cleaned often. Fix all that, and if they still aren't covering, then consider territory. And if it came on suddenly, consider a vet. Next, the face. Every so often your cat will stop, lift their head, curl the upper lip back, wrinkle the nose, and hold the mouth half open in an expression of absolute disgust. It looks so much like a human sneer that everybody reads it the same way. My cat is revolted. That's not it. It's called the Flemen response, and your cat isn't disgusted, your cat is thinking. Cats have a specialized sensory structure in the roof of the mouth called the vomeronasal organ, built to read chemical signals the nose alone can't fully process. Holding the lip back and the mouth open channels air onto that organ. So the face isn't an opinion, it's equipment being deployed. Your cat has found a scent worth deeper analysis, and that expression is them running it. And it isn't just house cats. Horses do it. Lions do it. It's old mammal hardware, especially common in unneutered males picking up the pheromones of a female in heat. So leave them to it. Don't interrupt, don't wave your hand at them. Your cat is mid-sentence in a language you don't have access to. Let them finish. And that brings me to doors, because your cat has strong feelings about those. You shut the bathroom door and within 10 seconds there's a paw underneath it, scratching, a meow. And it makes no sense because your cat wasn't trying to be in there until you closed it. Two things are going on. The first is curiosity, and it's sharper than it looks. Cats want to know what's on the other side, and unknowns bother a small animal whose safety depends on knowing what's around it. The second is the real driver, territory. Your cat believes this house is theirs, not shared, theirs, and you're a valued resident. So a closing door doesn't read as privacy. It reads as a piece of their own territory sealed off with no explanation. And underneath both is a social piece. Cats hunt alone, but they aren't antisocial. And a cat scratching at a shut door is often just a cat who wants to be where you are. The correct way, and I know it's inconvenient. Leave the doors open where you can, especially the bedroom, because that's the most scent-saturated territory in the house, and being shut out of it nightly makes cats genuinely insecure. And if you must close a door, don't shout through it. Yelling at a cat already anxious about a sealed-off room teaches them only that the room now contains an angry human. If the scratching is frantic and destructive rather than mildly irritating, take it seriously, because that's closer to real anxiety than nosiness. Which leads into the one that costs you the most productivity. Why they sit on the exact thing you're looking at. The book, the keyboard, the one sheet of paper you need. Not the other 5 on the table, that one. And this isn't modern. There are cat paw prints inked across a 15th century manuscript, so a medieval scribe was having the same afternoon you're having. 3 reasons stack here. First, scent. The book you are reading is covered in you, and cats are guided by smell far more than sight. An object that smells like you is a comforting place to be, which is why they want that book and not an identical one off the shelf. Second, marking. When a cat settles on your things, they deposit scent from face and paws, claiming that object as territory. They watched you give it an hour of attention, decided it must be important, and put their name on it. And third, the one you already suspected. Cats have noticed that whatever you're staring at is absorbing attention they'd rather have, and sitting on it reliably redirects it. It works. It has always worked. So stop treating it as an interruption and read it as a request. If it's constant, that's a cat telling you they're understimulated. Give them a proper session before you sit down to read. 15 minutes with a wand toy, then a meal, and the paperwork gets a lot less popular. And now the one I opened this video with, the tongue. Let's start with the harmless version, because most of the time that's what this is. A relaxed cat lets their jaw go slack. Muscle tone drops, the mouth opens a fraction, and the tongue tip slips out and stays there. It means nothing except that your cat is extremely comfortable. It also happens when they're mid-task and get interrupted. A cat grooming or eating gets distracted, looks up, and forgets to retract the tongue. And some do it far more for pure anatomy. Flat-faced breeds like Persians have less room to store the tongue, so a bit hangs out routinely, and for those cats, that's simply their face. So most of the time, a blep is a blep. Take the photo. But here's the difference I need you to spot, because this is where it stops being funny. A normal blep is brief and incidental. Your cat is relaxed, everything else about them is normal, and the tongue goes back in on its own. What you're watching for is a tongue that's out and staying out, in a cat who doesn't usually do it. Persistent, not passing. And what makes that important is what sits underneath it. Dental disease and mouth pain are near the top of the list, and cats hide oral pain extraordinarily well, because a cat who looks weak in the wild gets picked off. A tongue that won't stay in can simply be a mouth that hurts to close. Nausea is another, and so is drooling, so check whether the chin or chest fur is damp. And there are more serious possibilities, including problems affecting the nerves that control the jaw and tongue. So look at the whole picture, not the tongue alone. Is this new? Is it staying out rather than slipping out? Is there drool, a smell from the mouth, a change in how they eat? Are they chewing on one side, dropping food, walking away from the bowl? Any of those alongside a tongue that won't retract is a phone call to your vet, and sooner rather than later, because mouth pain in cats is one of the most common sources of quiet, constant suffering there is, and it's very treatable once somebody looks. So let me pull it together. The limp kitten is a survival reflex, not obedience. The following is affection and often boredom. The uncovered waste is the litter box before it's ever a statement. The disgusted face is chemical analysis. The closed door is stolen territory. The paperwork is scent, marking, and a fair request for attention. And the tongue is almost always nothing at all, right up until the day it's the only warning you get. That's the pattern under everything on this channel. Your cat is not weird. Your cat is a precise animal running behaviors that made complete sense long before your living room existed, and everyone is readable once you know what you're looking at. So tell me in the comments, which of these does your cat do the most? And did you have the reason right? And go look at your cat's tongue tonight. Not to worry you, but because knowing your cat's normal is the only way you'll notice the day it changes. Hit like, subscribe, and send this to somebody with a blepping cat. I'm Leo Bennett, and I'll see you in the next one.